Ryan Garcia takes on Rukiya ANPO, the kickboxer, in Japan in a boxing exhibition, 8 rounds of 2 minutes on New Year's Eve. Now, actually, it'll be on December 30th here in the United States, whereas in Japan, where it's being hosted, it will be New Year's Eve. Let's take a look how Ryan and ANPO face off technically. Well, ANPO certainly has the size advantage. He looks like he's about a head taller than Ryan, and he's always fought as an adult at 154, whereas Ryan has topped out at 143 in his last fight versus Haney. In addition to the size advantage, I think Rukiya ANPO also has a few other technical advantages. One, I think ANPO has great footwork. He's always got live feet, meaning he's bouncing on the balls of his feet, and he has excellent balance. Those attributes come from ANPO's background as a kickboxer. There's no way you can be flat-footed or not have excellent balance and throw a kick. Remember, ANPO is a world-class kickboxer. I believe he was K1 champion at 154. Now, because of his exceptionally long torso and long arms, ANPO is also able to generate quite a bit of torque on his punches. His physical attributes are aided by the fact that he knows how to turn his hips over. All kickboxers have to turn their hips over to throw a proper kick, and ANPO is able to translate that skill into turning his hips over when he throws a punch, so that adds additional torque at the end of his strikes. Now, that said, there's a few areas of concern for ANPO. One is how he kind of moves his lead hand around in the air. ANPO fights out of orthodox stance, so his lead hand is his left hand, and he tends to kind of move it a little bit, and I'm concerned that he might be leaving himself open for Ryan Garcia's straight right hand. Secondly, and perhaps even more concerning, would be ANPO being open for Ryan's left hook, either to the body or to the head. Now, ANPO does keep his right hand close to his chin, but the thing is, with Ryan's hooks, you don't necessarily want to try to block them. What you need to do is weave under them. Of course, you would want to block Ryan's left hook to the body. But the issue here is that if you try to block either one of Ryan's left hooks to the head or to the body, he uses that to set you up for the other punch. So if you shift your arm down to block a body shot, he's going to transition his left hook into targeting the head, and vice versa. So rather than block, you want to weave or just avoid that punch altogether. But the bigger area of concern for ANPO is the fact that when he gets a little bit excited, as we saw during the 3rd round in his exhibition versus Manny Pacquiao, ANPO does tend to open up a little bit. Now, granted, he's throwing hard shots, hard combinations himself, but that's when he's open for counter shots. And as we know, Ryan loves to counter pot shot his opponents. Now, Ryan's technical advantages are also strategic in that he knows how to set up his shots within the context of boxing, whereas Rukiya has been setting up punches to go along with kicks. Now, one opening for Ryan's left hook is that Rukiya tends to overshoot his right hand sometimes and leave it out there, and he doesn't come back with his own left hook. That leaves him completely open for Ryan to time his left hook to Rukiya's head. And I'm pretty sure Ryan was able to spot that because Ryan was at Rukiya's exhibition match versus Manny Pacquiao. Ryan certainly has the speed advantage in terms of delivering his punches, and Ryan also throws tighter combinations than ANPO. The only question for me is, will Ryan come in well-trained and having put in a very serious, diligent training camp for this? Because Ryan gets to come in heavier at 154, will he be in tip-top shape? Or will Ryan have too much fun hanging out in Tokyo, Japan in preparation for this fight? Final question I have just in general is, will they be using 10-ounce gloves for this fight? If you look at Anpo's match versus Manny Pacquiao, to me those gloves look super small. They almost look like 8-ounce gloves. Now you'd think that for an exhibition match, both fighters would use slightly bigger gloves. So I could see them asking for 12-ounce gloves. But I guess we'll find out on the night of the fight. Now I actually feel a business breakdown is more relevant than a technical breakdown in terms of this matchup between Garcia and Anpo. Here's why. I think it's an amazing win-win situation for both Ryan Garcia and for Rizin Promotion and Rukiya ANPO. First, this boxing exhibition on December 30th, 31st allows Ryan to bypass his suspension until April 20th of 2025. Seeing as it's not a legit boxing fight, I guess Ryan can get away with it, right? Because it's not a sanctioned boxing fight. Ryan's not in violation of his suspension. Secondly, because it's just an exhibition, it doesn't go on Ryan's record no matter what happens. Thirdly, it's at a heavier weight, 154, so he doesn't have to kill himself to make weight. But fourthly, and most important, this helps Ryan to penetrate the Japanese market, Japanese and Asian market. Now that's a very tough market to enter for an American. And Ryan Garcia's been able to do this on the biggest fight card of the year for Rizin Promotion. This is going to introduce Ryan to a huge Japanese audience, arguably the biggest audience of the entire year, because the New Year's Eve Rizin Promotion has traditionally been the biggest fight card that Rizin Promotion puts on for the entire year, and it's always got big name headliners. So it's highly likely that some of the Japanese audience are going to tune in to see other fighters on the card, and then by default they'll also get to see Ryan Garcia. And in my opinion, Ryan Garcia is a great fit for this young Japanese audience. I mean, he's young, he's good looking, he kind of fits in with their sort of Gen Z, Gen Alpha, anime type look that a lot of these Rizin fighters have. So if Ryan Garcia plays his cards right, this fight gets some exposure in Japan, and it could lead to other business deals. So for example, a lot of American movie stars and music stars wind up doing commercials in Japan. I'm not sure why it's to their advantage to do that. I think it has to do with just the taxes and the income and whatnot. But if you do a quick search on YouTube, you can find these commercials. A lot of these movie stars and TV stars, music stars would not do a commercial here for an American product, but they're comfortable doing commercials for Japanese television. It absolutely does not matter that they don't speak Japanese. So I could 100% see Ryan being able to secure that kind of deal for some type of commercial in Japan. But I think Ryan's all about the eyeballs. He's already got a lot of business deals in place that just basically leverage the fact that he attracts so much attention in terms of views and view time. So by him just expanding that to the Japanese market, it only adds to his value. Let's take a look at how this is a win for Rizin Promotion and for Rukiya ANPO. Well, by piggybacking themselves in a sense to the American market via Ryan Garcia, Rizin Promotion will automatically introduce itself to the Gen Z, Gen Alpha audience that Ryan appeals to. That's perfect for Rizin Promotion because a lot of his fighters kind of look like that. As I said, they have that anime look, which would definitely appeal to the American Gen Z, Gen Alpha population. Just the whole presentation of how Rizin Promotion runs their show and does their walkouts, I think would be very appealing to the younger generation, who's kind of captivated by Japanese anime anyways. Let's take a look at how Nobuyuki Sakakibara, who's the president of Rizin Promotion, let's take a look at how he uses this model to market a kickboxer turning into a professional boxer. I find it fascinating how he's done this with both Tenshin Nasukawa and now is starting to do this with Rukiya ANPO. So Tenshin Nasukawa is a world-class kickboxer who decided he wanted to turn into a professional boxer. So now here's a very interesting model for that transition. Instead of taking Tenshin to some small, say for example, place in Mexico and having him fight in some dive bars 5 times in a row to rack up, 5 easy KOs, which is what, fighters like Devin Haney and others have done. Instead, what Rizin Promotion did was put Tenshin in front of a huge audience with a big name like Floyd Mayweather. That was a boxing exhibition, so again, it doesn't go on his permanent boxing record. But what it does is it gets Tenshin in front of a huge audience, again, on the Rizin Promotion New Year's Eve card. It gets him under pressure with a world-class boxer, like straight out of the gate. So for sure, I believe Tenshin learned something, even though he did take a beating versus Floyd, since Floyd outweighed him by 50 pounds. I do believe that Tenshin learned a lot in that fight versus, or in that exhibition versus Floyd. So now Rizin seems to be using that same approach with Rukiya ANPO, also a kickboxing champion who apparently wants to become a pro boxer. They put him in front of a huge audience on a big card versus big names in boxing, Manny Pacquiao and now Ryan Garcia. But they keep it a boxing exhibition, so no matter what the outcome is, it will not go on his permanent boxing record. That's a super interesting approach. I think it can work with somebody who's already world-class athlete. They have that level of confidence. They know who they are as a world champion. But to put them in there with other former world champions, that's got to help build their confidence. Because they know straight out the gate in their pro boxing career, hey, I've been in the ring with the absolute best. And no doubt, I'm sure they learned something technically in that 15 minutes they share the ring with that person. So in my opinion, Rukiya ANPO versus Ryan Garcia in a boxing exhibition is really a coup in terms of a business deal, far more than it is in terms of a combat sport event. Will you tune in on December 30th to watch Rukiya ANPO face Ryan Garcia in 8 2-minute rounds of a boxing exhibition? How do you think this is going to turn out? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And thank you again for listening. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing and hit the notification bell so you know when our next video drops. If you'd like early access to all content and enjoy deep boxing conversations, please also consider joining our website or joining our channel as a member. Thank you again.